If you think you've heard everything I have to say about investing, think again. I'm so excited to tell you about our brand new 2-night virtual event, Investing Essentials. On May 21st and 22nd, I'm diving deep into my personal playbook, the investing strategy I've used for over 30 years. We're talking about mutual funds and 401ks, and I'm unpacking my personal strategy for investing in real estate. Early bird tickets start at $199. Get them before prices go up at RamseySolutions.com/essentials.
This episode is sponsored by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro for free at RamseySolutions.com/invest. You're listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires, where we talk investing, retirement, building wealth, and outrageous generosity.
So starting us off is Danielle in Hartford, Connecticut. Hey, Danielle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Jade. I first have to say I'm so incredibly thankful for the opportunity to speak to my dream team. So thank you for taking my call.
Are we your dream team, Danielle?
I love that.
We love you.
You're sweet.
At the end of this call.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. How can we help?
Some notes. Yes, we took some notes just so I don't forget to kind of paint the full picture. But here's the situation. So my husband and I are currently on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and we agreed that you both would be the voice of reason for our current dilemma. Okay, so there is a home in our neighborhood about 6 doors down that the sellers approached us about. They knew that we were looking to potentially move and get a bigger home, and we love our neighborhood. So it kind of all worked out. This was about 6 months ago that they approached us. And when they approached us, we stopped throwing money at our current mortgage and started stashing away cash. So we have about $100,000 in savings right now.
Good.
So I'll give you the numbers in a moment. But our question is this transaction Dave approved? And if so, what's the best way about going about it? So our current home is worth about $450,000, and we have about $110,000 left on our mortgage at 2% interest rate.
Okay.
We're looking to purchase the new home for $650,000 with, of course, today's interest rate. The caveat is that the sellers are looking to close by May 1, and then they want to remain in the home for 60 days thereafter. So we would obviously have to stay in our current residence prior to moving, and we couldn't sell our home and then roll that equity into a down payment like we originally had hoped, putting us in a similar position as we currently are and allowing us to kind of pay off our mortgage in about a year or so.
So you'd have to carry 2 mortgages at once to make this deal work.
Correct.
My answer is no.
Your answer is no.
Based on that alone. Like I wouldn't even need to hear any more numbers. Even if you could easily afford this next house, blah, blah, blah. Because they have to close May 1 and because your deal has to be contingent on the sale of your house, and that's not you could put your house on the market and see if it closes by May 1. And if it does, now we can talk, but there's no way I would carry 2 mortgages.
Okay. And that's my concern because we're so close to being done with our current mortgage that I just don't want us to be
my question is, Danielle, you said you have $100,000 saved, correct?
We do. Yes.
Okay. And you have $110,000 left on your home, correct?
Correct.
So part of me is like, just pay off your house.
Loving it.
So that's been my feeling, and I've just been very torn because the home is a little bit bigger. It's a nicer property. There's a pool on the second home. And so but we're still looking to cash flow our kids' colleges and retire with dignity. So that's why I'm calling
So
today.
Now the question is it better to have a home that's a little bit smaller, that's completely paid for and it's yours, or is it better to upgrade and possibly have a little bit more of a mortgage again?
Correct.
How much do you guys make a year?
About $500.
Okay, so if I'm getting this math correct, Danielle, if I was in your shoes, so we're in February right now. You got March, April, May. You got 3 months, plus they are needing to stay in the house another 2 months. Is that right?
Really 2 months you've got, because you've got all of March, all of April, but they've got to close May 1st.
That's true. March, April, May.
Right.
And then they're going to be in the house June and July, correct?
Correct.
So you have 5 months. Okay. So what I would do, Danielle, I would pay off your house. Like I would take that money, I would pay it off. And then you have 5 months to just continue to save and have some money stashed away. And then when you go to move in, and then that means the equity, ideally you would, what could you sell your house for?
About $450.
Okay, $450, yeah. So then you have a $200,000 mortgage, making $500,000. I mean,
listen, it sounds good, but it is hard to go from no home payment to
yes, but
no mortgage to mortgage.
Yeah, but at $200,000 making $500,000, you could have it paid off. You could have it paid off in a year. If you guys lived on $300,000, you have your house paid off in a year. Yeah, so you have your house paid off.
The steps in doing it, I'm worried about carrying the two mortgages, but it sounds like you're saying...
You wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I would pay it off.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. But again, and what Jade said earlier is a really valid point, though, is to have this discussion of like, what do we want, right? Because I can tell you, my in-laws, they actually upgraded house when they were empty nesters, and they live on land now. They have a bigger home, so when we all go in, it's wonderful, and they love it. They love it, and so they did the opposite of downsizing, like some people do. And it worked for them. That's what they valued. And that's great, right? Where other people are like, oh, no, I don't want this much work for a house. So I'm going to go down. And that's what they value, right? So as long as the numbers work, which in this plan they would, I wouldn't want to carry two mortgages. I would go ahead and just pay off your house and then sell it. Yeah, you'll have, golly, throw all that at the house.
Yeah.
And then you have $200,000 that you owe at that point.
So let's go back and clarify one little piece, because she said the neighbors have to close by May 1st, right? So
Correct.
even if you pay off your house, let's say you pay your house off and you decide, yeah, I do want to get the house that's 6 doors down, she'd still have to sell before closing period in order to get, even if she bought her current house outright, you'd still have to close on that to get the cash to buy the next house.
Correct.
So yeah. I still don't want you to think, hey, this house is paid for. We can still do this deal and take the mortgage on the other one, even though you have a house that's paid off. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like either way, you've still got to
make me nervous.
Whether you pay off the house or not, you've still got to sell it and close and get that money before you make the next house.
And then what do we do between May and that 60 days where they remain in there? I guess we would have to have the same contingency in our sale.
Yes.
Yeah. The dominoes would have to fall pretty perfectly. Yeah.
And that's,
one lender mentioned a HELOC, and I was even worried about saying
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want you to feel desperate about this.
Yes.
You're in a great situation, and I don't want your want to get this house to cause desperation and to cause that to make you to make a bad decision when you're in such a great financial situation.
Yep.
I appreciate that very much.
Yep. Oh, Danielle.
Thanks for the advice.
Yes, I'm so glad that you called. I know, if the dominoes fell perfectly, it's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh, we get what we've wanted, and we're not in a crazy financial situation at that point. We can still, pay it off, but the dominoes have to fall really well.
The
so there's
average days on market right now is what might make or break this.
Yes, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. To learn more about how to plan for retirement, visit RamseySolutions.com/retire or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.